Hello, everybody, and good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, wherever you're from. Welcome to the video today. Today, we're going to talk about some topics for casual conversation. We're going to look at some useful, natural, colloquial phrases which people use in casual conversation. We're going to begin today with talking about the topic of weekend, which is probably the most common small talk topic in the world, right? People talk about the weekend all the time in small talk, apart from the weather. I guess the weather is probably the most common, but the weather's a little bit too small talk, isn't it? So we're going for the weekend. Let's start with a question that I asked in the chat. And I said, what's the most confusing phrase you've heard in English? And we had a few folks in chat mention some different things. Sleepwalker said, I came across a new phrase today, a snow job. It was confusing. I have no idea what that is, Sleepwalker. I've never heard of a snow job. I don't know what that is. Cal mentions to clump up into something when watching a speech video. So you mean, Cal, that when you watched a speech video, you heard the phrase clump up into something. It clumps up. Without context, it's always a little difficult to know exactly what you mean. But a clump is like some stuff that is stuck together. So, for example, if you pour flour or powder into the sink or into the toilet, then it clumps up in the water. And these clumps, this blob of flour or whatever, can block your sink or toilet. And then you have a clump of this stuff, a clump. So that's kind of clump up. It's when stuff comes together and sticks together like a blob because of some reason. Is that what you mean, Cal? Pachu says throwing spaghetti at the wall. Again, I've never heard that. That sounds like an Italian-American expression, but I don't know. Could I even guess what that means, throwing spaghetti at the wall? Does it mean you're trying to guess? Does that actually mean is that what it means? Like you're trying to guess something? Patrick says boil in the ocean. I imagine that means it's impossible, Pachu. But again, I've never heard that. Never heard it. By and large, yes. Now there's one that's quite common, by and large. By and large means overall or on average or as a general principle. So by and large, men are heavier than women. By and large means like on average. So a snow job means to make someone believe that something is true or good when it's not. A snow job. Interesting. I wonder if it's wrestling terminology. It sounds almost like WWE terminology. Be on par with something. Confusing because it means being equal to. Be on par with? No, that's no problem, right? Or be on a par with, or be on par with something. So the idea of par, Zoya, par means like a level. So, like, if you are on par, then that means you're at that level, right? And I believe this comes from golf terminology, where each course has a par. And that is the number of times you can hit the ball, or the number of times you can have a go in golf for a course. That's called par. So some courses are 3 par, some are 4 par, and some are 5 par. And if you are on par, that means you complete the course at that level. If you're over par, then it means you needed more that strokes. So you're not so good, which I guess is confusing because then we're thinking of levels and we think over, that should be better. Anyway, let's not complicate it. Par basically means level, on a par with, or on par with means at that level. We even say way below par, and we mean it's not good enough. That is way below par. It's below our standard. So we actually don't use it quite in the same way as golf. Way below par, not up to standard. Is that a phrase that's confusing, Manuel, or are you talking about something? Oh no, you're talking about something. All right. All right, so it's time to move on. We are going to begin today with a little dictation. So I'm going to say some phrases, and I would like you to type those phrases into the chat. All the phrases at the moment will relate to the weekend. Phrases related to the weekend. And of course, the overall topic for today is casual conversation. All right? Okay, number 1. Remember, you listen, type the words you hear. Don't worry if you don't get every word. The point of this activity is not to get every word. You just try your best and then compare with the answer. Okay? Number 1. What did you get up to this weekend? What did you get up to this weekend? So type the words that you hear into the chat. Once more. What did you get up to this weekend? They're so good, my chat. I mean, like, everyone's getting it perfectly, which is just ridiculous. If you have subtitles on, turn them off. The purpose of this activity is not to use subtitles. But most people got it, which is very impressive. Well done. It was, what did you get up to this weekend? Let's move on to number 2. Number 2. You got anything exciting lined up? Have you got anything exciting lined up? Have you got anything exciting lined up? Again, that's very impressive, everybody. I need to make this more difficult, obviously. Like, the thing is, the idea of this sort of activity is actually that you don't quite get every word, but you guys actually seem to find this fairly easy. So let's increase the difficulty a little bit if I can. Okay. Number 3. Let's try max speed. What are you getting up to this weekend? What are you getting up to this weekend? Last time. What are you getting up to this weekend? Oh, I got you with that one. I have to say, though, everybody, it's very impressive because that third one, we are really getting to very colloquial, and even at the level where a native speaker would find it difficult to entirely catch that out of context. Obviously, in context, they'll get it, but out of context can be very difficult at that speed. So that was what you're getting up to. What are you getting up to this weekend? You getting up to this weekend? All right, so they were all questions. Let's have a look at some statements about the weekend. So this will be number 4. These are like replies to those questions, all right? Number 4. Don't remember, to be honest. Just flew by. Don't remember, to be honest. It just flew by. I don't remember, to be honest. It just flew by. Wow, folks, it's very impressive. Zoya actually wrote the exact words I said, which includes the elision. So there was some elision here. I think elision is the right word, isn't it? No, it's not elision. Damn it. It's ellipsis, Rich. I always mix up elision and ellipsis. Yeah, we have some ellipsis. So the exact words were what Zoya wrote, which has the ellipsis. Ellipsis is when you drop words. So I said, don't remember, to be honest, just flew by. But to be grammatically correct, when we write this down, we should write it down with the missing words. And the missing words were ah. Now, I did say it a little bit. I said, like, I don't remember. I don't remember. I know you hardly hear it. But when people listen, they kind of hear it. They just invent it in their head. That's why context is so important. So, I don't remember, to be honest. Just flew by. Just flew by. Right. Don't remember, to be honest. It just flew by. All right, next. Not particularly. How about you? Number 5. Not particularly. How about you? All right, well done, folks. You got number 5. That is not particularly. How about you? Oh, that's unexpected, isn't it? Makes me disappear. Now, why is that? Let me just look into this a second. Video capture device. That one works fine. This one disappears. Ah, that's why. All right, so we'll have one more. Number 6. Yeah, we're hoping to get away if the weather's all right. We're hoping to get away if the weather's all right. Number 6. Yeah. We're hoping to get away if the weather's all right. We're hoping to get away if the weather's all right. So, well done, folks. The answers are on the board. A couple of phrases and a few answers. So, I think we could discuss these a little bit. Let's start with the first one. What did you get up to this weekend? What did you get up to this weekend, folks? Anything in particular? I mean, actually, it is the weekend, so this is actually a really weird question, isn't it? Okay, let's forget that one. Let's start with number 2. It makes much more sense because it is the weekend. So it is the weekend. You got anything exciting lined up? You got anything exciting lined up this weekend? Have you got anything exciting lined up this weekend? I tell you what I'm hoping to do this weekend. I'm hoping to do nothing after this stream. Nothing. Yeah. I will be going for communal spiritual contemplation and worship tomorrow, but for the rest of the weekend, honestly, I hope to do nothing. I have some work which I need to do. Other than that, I want to do nothing. Nothing. I don't want to leave the house this weekend. Yoga and meditation, nice. I could do with some of that, actually. Yes, I could do with some of that, Manuel. Pachu wants to do a lot of practice. What kind of practice are you getting up to, Pachu? What kind of practice are you getting up to? What kind of practice are you getting up to? Oh, English practice. And what are you doing to practice your English, Pachu? What's your main activity? And what skill do you want to improve the most? Is that vocabulary or... And Zoya's learning and doing Cambridge tests. Is that Cambridge English Advanced? Seems like your level's about advanced, Zoya. CAE. The Symphony Orchestra. Wow. Nice. Yeah, the CAE is great. I really love the CAE. I haven't taught it in like 6 or 7 years, but I prefer teaching CAE than IELTS, actually, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what the exam's like these days, but it was the best exam when back in like 2014. Definitely the best exam. It was better than first certificate. First certificate's good, and I don't just mean in level. I mean because they have different teams that make the exams, and the team that did the CAE was so good. The CPE, the proficiency, that's a nightmare. But the CAE, great exam. So it's 36 degrees for Manuel Gordillo. All right, everyone, thank you very much. Let's move on to our next topic for the day. So, our next topic for the day, we are talking about having natural conversations in English. So, our next topic for today is food and cooking, because why not? Who doesn't like talking about food and cooking? So, we are, again, going to have a bit of dictation. I want you to listen and type the words that you hear into chat. And these are phrases related to food and cooking. Phrases related to food and cooking. And of course, we'll start with questions. And then we'll have some answers. I hope that no one's hungry. I'm going to get hungry. I totally overate yesterday. You know when you feel like you overeat one day and the next day you just feel like, oh, I really feel like that. Okay. Let's go for number 1. Fancy a bite to eat? What are you in the mood for? Fancy a bite to eat? What are you in the mood for? Fancy a bite to eat? What are you in the mood for? Oh, well done, Vitaly. He got it. It's fancy a bite to eat? What are you in the mood for? Hey, by the way, if you're joining us for the first time, then smash that like button and hit subscribe. We stream on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and you can access our bank of videos and classes on the channel under the live tab. All right. So it was fancy bite to eat. What are you in the mood for? What are you in the mood for? Okay, number 2. Do you like cooking? What's your go-to dish? Do you like cooking? What's your go-to dish? you like cooking? What's your go-to dish? I knew there was something weird going on here. Yeah. Do you like cooking? What's your go-to dish? Yeah, that's very good, actually. Yeah, and Zoya as well. That's not quite how we write go-to, but otherwise you're correct. So when we use go-to like this as an adjective, it's good to have it with the hyphen. A go-to. So this is a colloquial way of saying... It's a colloquial adjective, which means something like default. As in... You know, the one you just do all the time. What's your go-to dish? My go-to dish is roast chicken. But you know, I'm just feeling dirty at the moment. I think I'll get like a pizza or something. It's been a tough week, you know. I'm dealing with stress. I'm dealing with stress at the moment. Hello to all my wonderful university students, by the way, if you're watching me. You're not stressful at all. It's the course. It's the course, not you guys. I love you guys. They are stressful, those pre-sessional English courses, honestly. Right. Great, let's have another one. Okay, number 3. Sorry, brain freeze. That's not the phrase. Number 3. Fancy a takeaway? Should we go out? Fancy a takeaway or should we go out? Oh, sorry, I give you the answer too quick. It's funny, isn't it? You start talking about feeling tired and then you actually feel more tired. I should have said, you know what? I feel really great. Really great. I feel like full of energy, folks. Full of energy. Smash that like button, hit subscribe. All right, I think there's some pretty good phrases, aren't they? There's some pretty good phrases. Let's get some responses. We'll get some responses, okay? Let's get some responses. Number 4. Number 4. Yeah, I'm starving. How about sushi? Yeah, I'm starving. How about sushi? Look at that. Julia got it straight away. Yeah, I'm starving. How about sushi? Yeah, I'm starving. How about sushi? All right. Hello, Elizabeth. Fancy, it means want. It's a colloquial way to say want, really. So fancy as a verb means something like feel like doing something. We also just use it to mean want. to do something. Yeah, I'm starving. How about sushi? Okay. All right, number 5. You ready? Super colloquial. Number 5. Oh, I'll tell you what. I could murder a curry. Oh, I'll tell you what. I could murder a curry. I mean, really. Murder it. Oh, I tell you what, I could murder a curry. Tell you what, I could murder a curry. Hey, I got you guys. You can't get this one. It's very colloquial. But, yeah, I would say it. Yeah, something I would say, actually. For sure. Tell you what, I could murder a curry. Yeah. Tell you what. I tell you what doesn't really mean anything, by the way. It's just like, listen to this. That's all it means, right? It's like, for Manuel, it's like when the Spanish say, mira, or ya te digo, or something like that. You know, it's just like, tell you what, you know, listen to this. Escucha. Listen. No, tell you what. I could murder a curry. Murder. Oh, Vitaly got it early doors, no problem. Yeah? Did I miss your comment? Still don't see it. Anyway, tell you what, I could murder a curry. Yeah, I think there was an issue there, Vitaly. We don't see it. Anyway, one more. One more. Number 6. Not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Look at Manuel. Look at me. Look at me. Manuel needs to see. He needs to see the mouth. I can't remember what I said now, Manuel. Okay, number 6. I'm not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Listen to the pronunciation of this. Should we eat a bit later? 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 I'm not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Should we eat a bit later? Bit later. I'm not really hungry, to be honest. To be honest. That's a good phrase. To be honest. Not really hungry, to be honest. Hungry. Not really hungry, to be honest. Should we eat a bit later? Should we eat a bit later? Should we eat a bit later? Oh, I'll tell you what, I could murder a curry. Yeah, I'm starving. How about sushi? I'm starving. Notice that as well. When we get colloquial, we often pronounce ing like this. So it's like starving instead of starving. Starving is more correct, but starving is more common. because it's colloquial, and colloquial English is more common. So on the street, in the supermarket, people say starving. When you speak to your mother-in-law, you say starving. In fact, when you speak to your mother-in-law, you don't say starving. You say, oh, I'm a little bit peckish. I'm a little bit peckish. In fact, you probably don't even say that. But talking to your colleague, you can say you're starving. All right, let's have a chat. Let's talk about cooking. Notice cooking. Said it. Do you like cooking? Do you like cooking? What's your go-to dish? Let me tell you folks about mine. So, I don't like cooking. Actually, I like eating. I don't like cooking, but I don't mind cooking. I don't mind it. So I don't mind cooking. I don't like it, but I don't mind it. My go-to dish is definitely roast chicken thighs. So I will often get thighs, chicken thighs with skin. Okay, with the skin. And I mix them in black pepper, paprika, some oil, maybe some herbs, it depends. And then I cook them on a very high temperature in the oven. Very high temperature for about 25 minutes or 30 minutes. You have to check. Be careful with chicken because it can make you very sick if you don't cook it well. But anyway, if it's room temperature chicken, then about 25 minutes. If it's frozen, it takes like an hour. But I use very high temperature so that it burns a bit on the outside. It tastes very nice. Pork with vegetables. I don't like it, but I have to do it. That's weird, Zoya. You don't like it, but you have to do it. And pork with vegetables is quite a unique dish, actually. All right, so no one's really that bothered about cooking, eh? Taco de pastor. Taco de pastor. I have no idea what taco de pastor is. All right, next question, folks. Fancy a bite to eat? What you in the mood for? Fancy a bite to eat? What are you in the mood for? What are you in the mood for? What are you in the mood for, everybody? Oh, what am I in the mood for? Should really think about this. You know, I really want to eat something right now that I will eat and it'll just feel like, life's troubles have just sailed away. There's nothing to worry about. There's just you, the food, and no worries for all time. So can anyone recommend a food that will do that? Oh, I'm in the mood for an ice cream. I tell you what, Asmina, I'm always in the mood for an ice cream, but I stuffed myself with ice cream last night, so I don't want to eat more ice cream today. Oh, Zoya says I'd like sushi. Sushi's brilliant, Zoya. But you know what? You can't get good sushi in the UK unless you spend a fortune. I mean, a real fortune, you know? I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard to get good fish in the UK. I don't know. You know what? Let's ask ChatGPT. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, all right? Good fish in the UK can be challenging for several reasons. Most of the fresh catch is often exported or sent to high-end markets and restaurants. That's annoying, isn't it? Blooming high-end restaurants and markets. That's the problem. It's those bloody Londoners with their fancy restaurants. They're taking all the fish. That's why we don't get the good fish. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, the famous fish and chips. That's the thing though, Sleepwalker. That fish and chips is a dish that's designed for bad fish. Did you know that? Like fish and chips is designed to make bad fish taste good. That's what fish and chips is. You get a bad fish, right? That's not nice, and you cover it in fried batter and chips and salt and vinegar and gravy if you're in the north, like me, and then you eat that. So that's what it does. You don't use good fish for fish and chips, right? If you want to eat good fish, you have it with vegetables and you have it like steamed, not fried, right? Fish and chips is fast food. It's fried, greasy, fatty food that you use to make terrible fish taste good. It's famous, but it's not the most popular food. People like it twice a year, 3 times a year, you know? It's a Friday night food. Friday night. Jamon serrano. Has everyone had jamon serrano? I love jamon serrano. You know what I love is chorizo. Ugh, I can murder it. Just give me some chorizo and I just murder it. The problem is, I murder too much of it, and then afterwards I feel really bad, like, because chorizo, it's so salty. So if you eat like 500 grams of chorizo, like I do sometimes, then you eat the chorizo and then afterwards, it's chorizo death. Death by chorizo. Oh, it's so good though. Chorizo. Right, I think it's time for another topic, everybody. I think it's time for another topic. Do we have any requests? We're talking about casual, everyday topics. If not, I've got one. Oh, that's terrible, Zoya. You can't eat ice cream. It makes you sick because your gallbladder was removed. What is it about the what does the gallbladder do? Concentrates bile, which breaks down fats. Just fats? So is it the fats that's the problem, Zoya? Because you know you can get ice cream that's low fat. In fact, you can get ice cream with no fat. No fat. Like you can get protein substitute ice cream that uses protein instead of fat. So maybe all is not lost. There might be options for you. I actually sometimes make ice cream. You need an ice cream maker. You don't want to do it manually. I sometimes make ice cream using protein powder, whey protein powder, egg yolks, whey protein powder, and cream. Obviously, you can't use the cream because you don't want the fat. Anyway, nachos with cheese. Okay, that's it. I'm getting excited now. Today's going to be a day where I just eat like Homer Simpson, you know? That's making me feel good. Yeah. All right. That's great. All right. What was the topic? Did we decide on a topic? Let me give you some topics. We can talk about TV shows and movies, hobbies. books, music, or technology? What do you think? I'm going to give you some colloquial expressions to use in those situations. What do you want to go for? This is our last one, so choose wisely. We got films, TV shows, hobbies, books, technology. Okay, it's films. It's films. Traditionally, film was the English word and movies was the American word. But now, because of the popularity, the continued popularity of Hollywood and the cinema, then basically movies and films are used interchangeably. All right. Number one. Seen the new Bond film? What do you make of it? Have you seen the new Bond film? What do you make of it? Have you seen the new Bond film? What do you make of it? Oops. We're back. Have you seen the new Bond film? What do you make of it? Notice that I did actually ask the question in present simple. What do you make of it? You could say what did you make of it? But what do you make of it? It's like, what do you think about it? What do you make of it? What do you make of it? So you don't need the past here. You can if you want, but personally I would just use the present here. Have you seen the new Bond film? What do you make of it? What do you make of it? Seen the new Bond film? All right, number 2. Should we have a check what's on at the cinema? What do you fancy? Should we have a check what's on at the cinema? What do you fancy? Should we have a check what's on at the cinema? What do you fancy? Should we have a check what's on at the cinema? What do you fancy? Not a fan of 007, Takeshi? What? What do you mean? Je ne parle pas français. Je suis désolé. Je suis anglais. Je n'ai pas mangé de gluten. Je suis anglais, je suis désolé. Parlez-vous anglais? Parlez-vous anglais? Oui. D'accord. Sorry. Second phrase. Should Should we have a check what's on the cinema? What you fancy? Should we have a check what's on at the cinema? What you fancy? Très bien. Très bien. Oui, oui, très bien. Should we have a check what's on at the cinema? What do you fancy? Right. Number 3. What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? Anything with the Gundam. Nice try, Takeshi. Well done. It's not, but well done. Oh, look at that, Vitaly. What's going on? What is going on? Have you lived in the UK? Have you lived in the UK? How did you get that? That's wild. I'm really impressed that you got that. I think some English people wouldn't get that. Yeah, that's right, Ferd. So, what do you fancy is like, what do you want to do? It's like, what do you have a feeling to do? What do you have good feeling to do? So, in Spanish, I don't know about French. In Spanish, the version is, ¿qué te apetece? Or they say, tengo ganas de hacer algo. ¿Qué ganas? Oh, I really feel like this. I really fancy this. ¿Qué te apetece? ¿Qué te apetece? So it's a gander. What's coming up? Anything with a gander? Oh, let's have a gander. Let's have a gander. So a gander is a look. It's a look. So let's say have a gander is like have a look at something, right? Oh, let's have a look. Let's have a check. Have a check over something interesting. Let's have a gander. Let's have a gander. What we got? Let's have a gander. I'm amazed that Vitaly got it. I don't know how. I don't know how you got it. It's impressive. You must know it. You must know it, Vitaly. You know the expression, or you've lived in the UK or something. Why don't you use the word a glance? I mean, the thing is, Cal, that is a question that you could ask about anything. It's the way languages work that we just use phrases and collocations, you know? Now, glance doesn't make a great deal of sense in this case. A glance is like a quick incidental look. Like you catch a glance or you have a glance. Have a glance? You just see something very quickly. But have a gander is like when you want to look at something interesting. Oh, is that a new phone? Oh, let's have a gander. Let's have a look at your new phone. You know, not let's have a glance, like a very quick look, but no, let me look at your phone that I'm interested about and I want to have a gander. That's a gander. So it's like looking at something interesting. It's colloquial. Everything I'm telling you today is colloquial. We're doing colloquial stuff, everybody. Where are my cats? Ginger! Gingy! Hi! Ginger! He's totally ignoring me. Ginger! Hi! Ginger! Honestly, he is not even moving slightly. Like, he's not moving at all. I'm a little bit worried, actually. Gingy! Oh, he just woke up. Come on. No, there's no way he's coming over here. Pepper. Ginger. I'll get him later. All right. So we should have some responses, shouldn't we? Responses. Number 4. Are you ready? Oh, it's a load of old rubbish. Don't bother. Ah, it's a load of old rubbish. Don't bother. It's a load of old rubbish. Don't bother. It's a load of old rubbish. Don't bother. Gingy, come on. Come and say hello. Gingy. Come on. Come on. It's a load of old rubbish. Don't bother. Well done, folks. Lots of good answers there. All right, moving on to number 5. All right, let's have a look, see if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. All right, let's have a look, see if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. All right, let's have a look. See if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. Let's have a look. See if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. Let's have a look. See if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. Right, let's have a look. See if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. Gonna have to go to small vid. Let's have a look. See if there's any sci-fi, but none of that rom-com stuff. I'm using slightly Yorkshire slang here when I say none that. Like, just skip the of and say none that. The reason why, when I speak colloquially, I sometimes use Yorkshire slang is because I went to university in Sheffield and I lived in Sheffield for 10 years almost. So when I speak colloquially, I have a bit of Liverpool, a bit of Yorkshire, and a bit of general RP English because of all the places I've lived. You know, Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire pudding. None of that rom-com stuff. All right, let's have the last one. Number 6. Excuse me. clicking my neck. So stiff these days. Anyone got any tips for mobility exercises? I need to get my mobility up. All right. Number 6. I don't know what to say for number 6. What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? What do you reply to that? What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? Okay. Number 6. Nah, it's mostly a load of old rubbish. Sorry, repeating the phrase, but I didn't know what else to say. Nah, it's mostly a load of old rubbish. Nah, it's mostly a load of old rubbish. By the way, we've got nah, which is a colloquial no. Nah, it's mostly a load of old rubbish. Right then, folks, so we're moving on to our questions then. Shall we have a check what's on the cinema? What do you fancy? Shall we have a check what's on the cinema? What do you fancy? What do you fancy, everybody? Shall we have a check what's on the cinema? Let's have a check. Shall we have a check what's on the cinema? What's on at the cinema? Let's have a check. Let's have a check. It's on the cinema. Despicable Me 4. Wow. I didn't realise there were so many Despicable Me's. Twisters? What? Is that a new one? A Quiet Place Day 1. Inside Out 2. Long Legs. Fly Me to the Moon. Kung Fu Panda 4. Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine? That's out? Is that out? Hey, it's out. I think Deadpool and Wolverine could be good. I know Marvel films are rubbish these days, but Deadpool and Wolverine, I think that's a good combination. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, they know what's up. Yeah. Nah, it's mostly a load of old rubbish, says Julia. Yeah, I know. It is. It is. It is. It is. And you're spelling nah right as well. Why did I spell it like that? You're right. It should have the NH like that. That's much better, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Thank you for the correction. All right, then. What's coming up? What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? What's coming up? Anything worth a gander? Should we have a look? What's coming up? Gladiator 2. Oh, no. Joker Folie à Deux. No. Venom. Oh, no. Superman. If it was Henry Cavill, yeah. But it's not Henry Cavill. Just looks like him. Avatar 3. Has anyone seen Avatar 2? Oh. Beetlejuice 2. What do you think that's going to be like? Beetlejuice 2. I loved the original Beetlejuice, but honestly, you know it's going to suck. Minecraft the movie. Bambi the Reckoning? What? What is Bambi the Reckoning? Bambi the Reckoning. Oh, this sounds ridiculous. After a mother and son get in a car wreck, they are hunted by Bambi, a mutated, grief-stricken deer on a deadly rampage. Oh, dear me. Yeah, that sounds weird. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of this. These films suck. Nah, it's all a load of old rubbish. You're absolutely right. Netflix killed the cinema goers. Yeah, Netflix is a load of old rubbish as well, though. Is Lord of the Rings on? There's not a Lord of the Rings. What are you talking about? This year? I know they're making one, but not this year, right? They're making one in the future. I know Peter Jackson's back on board, isn't he? Everybody loves Peter Jackson. Although The Hobbit sucked. Black Barbie? You're kidding. I'm not seeing that. There is no such thing. Come on, Patchy, what are you talking about? Yeah, it's all a load of rubbish. All right, folks, I hope you've enjoyed our little colloquial chat today. What's the main points you have learned today? What do you need more practice with after today? You can type your answers into the chat. Reflection is an important part of life, certainly an important part of learning. I encourage people to reflect on their learning whenever they can. Is Don't Look Up a masterpiece, or is that a joke, Alex? I don't know. I've never seen Don't Look Up. I was going to see it, and then loads of people told me it was not good, and I didn't see it. So I don't know, actually. Sleepwalker wants to type word by word. What do you mean with that, Sleepwalker, word by word? Do you mean what we did or something else? An excellent vision of the US. I don't know. I don't know about Don't Look Up, Alex. I don't know it. I mean, my favourite films are from the 80s and 90s, you know? A little bit 2000s. The 80s is great. Samani wants more grammar. What kind of grammar do you want to do, Samani? We've done everything. Just have a look on the channel at the live classes. We've done everything. Learn how to be patient to others' opinions, says Cal. Yeah, that's tough, Cal. I mean, depends how you feel as well, because I tell you what, at the moment, I have just been so stressed out. I don't have any patience. I don't smoke, and I feel like I need a cigar. Honestly. How can we talk about films we don't like, but you don't want to sound rude or offensive? That's a really good question, Takeshi. How do we talk about films we don't like, but you don't want to sound rude or offensive? I like that. Yeah, let's do that. So you can download the notes from today's class. I'll put those into the chat. And then I'm going to answer Takeshi's question. All right. So how do you talk about films you don't like? Not super keen on that, to be honest. It's not really my cup of tea. It's not really my cup of tea. I'm not really into that sort of thing. Not really into that sort of film. Things like that. Not super keen on that. Not super keen on that, to be honest. Yeah, it's just not really my thing. Yeah, not really that keen. You're at the end of your tether. I don't know about that, Julia. But it's a... I wouldn't quite say that. But it's a combination of tiredness and stress and all the rest of it. Yeah, it is there, Pachu. I do try to always do that. If ever I don't do that, then just post a message. But I think I basically always do that. You know, Pachu, that's a really difficult question because it depends on so many things. I mean, there's a few things we need to ask. Whereas one, what genre do you like? What actors do you like? What's your English comprehension like? What accent do you prefer? So there's it's quite a lot. And also, are you watching just for fun or for fun and to improve your English? If you're watching only to improve your English, then you're doing it wrong. That's not right. But you must be watching for fun and to improve your English, or just for fun. I like movies about robots like Terminator. So, I mean, if you answer all those questions, Patrick, I can give you some recommendations. The British accent, of course. What are you talking about? All right. For Manuel Gordillo, I recommend The Gentleman on Netflix. Susie fucking Grass. Susie Grass. Glass, sorry. Susie Glass. Oh, it's really good. Just looking at the poster, I want to watch it again. Oh, this is so good. Yeah, I highly recommend this. Look at that. It's gangster comedy. So good. It's Guy Ritchie. So funny. Really, you know what? Like, British comedy has been pretty rubbish since the 90s. There's been some stuff, but we peaked in the 90s. But this is good. Eh? If you like that stuff. If you can't use Netflix, Manuel, then go speak to your friend Jack Sparrow. Do. Do you know what I mean? You can watch it with your friend Jack Sparrow. Well, everyone envies Tarantino. No? Tarantino's genius. But Guy Ritchie is good. Oh, you know what, Manuel? I wish I could have it just right now. You know, just in front of me. I think I just need it right now. I can't have a pint because I don't drink alcohol, but anything else, you know? Yeah, lovely, just a brilliantly strong coffee. All right, so I recommend The Gentleman for sure. That is fantastic. Now, if you like fantasy, okay, you have to be very careful these days because lots of fantasy on TV is rubbish. But this is good. This is good so far. I know we all got very upset about Game of Thrones because it went very bad. The last season was absolutely rubbish. It's the worst final season of a show ever made. Destroyed the whole show. But this is good so far. Very good. Very good. It's really, really good. House of the Dragon. Okay, it's like early Game of Thrones, like season 1 and 2 Game of Thrones. Really good. So I highly recommend it. Definitely check that out. Now, and this has lots of English, British accents. Lots of British accents. Most of the accents in this are British. In fact, basically all of them are British in House of the Dragon. Now, do you like live action anime? Adventure. One Piece. Outstanding. Phenomenal live action anime. So good. So good. Game of Thrones turned into a terrible show, Alexander. They really messed it up. But House of the Dragon is very good. One Piece is just phenomenal. So good. So good. Did someone ask horror? The found footage. I don't know about found. You know, I'm not really into horror, actually, Takeshi, but I can recommend some. It's American, though. Not British. But it's called Midnight Mass. It's a mini-series, very interesting. As I said, I don't really like horror, but detective. Oh, yes. That is one of my favorite genres, Sleepwalker. I love detective. You know, I saw one just the other day, actually. I don't know about detective series. Do I know any good detective series? Not sure about that, but I saw a good detective film with Russell Crowe. Yeah. It's just come out. It's a new one. It's called Sleeping Dogs. It's very good. Well, don't know about very good. It's good. Anyway. So yeah, check that out. I don't know about detective series though. I mean, obviously there's classic ones like Hercule Poirot, and Sherlock Holmes from Granada TV. We've spoke about it before. Pavia's a big fan. Yeah, you need to like violent stuff for Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon as well. I don't know about Detective Conan, no. Big Lebowski is amazing, but that's a 90s film and it's American. I was trying to recommend recent stuff, but yeah, Big Lebowski is great. I love Big Lebowski. I mean, if we're talking about classic detective films, there's loads of good stuff. I mean, all of the Poirot films, any Hercule Poirot films, the classic ones, brilliant. Oh, there is a good detective show, actually. Let's see if I can find it. Broadchurch. Yeah. It's quite good. That's British. 100% British. It's pretty good. I like it. There's 3 series. They're good. They're all good. You know what? It's about time that we had another classic Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? A classic one. Based in 20th century London, early or late 19th century London. Don't you think? I would like that, I think. I haven't watched Squid Game. I feel like Squid Game would annoy me. You know, I don't like injustice. And I feel like Squid Game is something about a lot of injustice, right? I get really annoyed with injustice. Like I want to see justice done. All right. Seems like we're wrapping up. Thank you for all of the recommendations, by the way, everybody. It's useful for the students as well to check out recommendations. So thank you very much for joining me today. As always, smash that like button and hit subscribe. Good luck with your English preparation this weekend. Take it easy. I know that I certainly will be. I think I'm going to go to the shops and I don't know what I'm going to buy, but it's going to be something which I can eat and then go, that's really the plan. Yeah. All right. All right, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. I'll see you next time.